about Donington a little bit, shouldn't I? Oh, my nuts. Yeah, talk about Donington, the stuff I used. Yeah, just my general experience with the speed on track. So to begin, a lot of people have asked how I got my exhaust on track. It was an unsilenced day. So yeah, I'd never been Donington before, and unfortunately everything was booked up, like novice, inters, the lot. So I was like, well, the only fucking one is advanced. And when I was at Rockingham, the kind of times that me and Janwheel were pulling, we were like good to go in advance, we was in inters. So I thought, you know what, we'll be fine, we'll be fine. And my mate on his ZX10, bless him, it was his first time on track ever, and he decided to book advance with me. He didn't want to, but he did. And you know what, he did alright. He did alright. Like, he didn't do too bad. I think it was a bit of an eye-opener for the fucking pair of us, to be fair. But yeah, it was really, really good. And it was really daunting, the initial sighting laps, because I hadn't been on track since Rockingham, and I was on a different bike that I, you know, openly tell everybody I lost a little bit of confidence in the bike and my riding when I had my second off on it, just because it was so fucking pathetic, like 20 to 30 miles an hour, and the bike just came from under me. But since then I've got like, I've had everything set up properly, and I've taken the time to just work the bike properly, and it's a lot, you know, it's a different bike to when I crashed it in more ways than one. So yeah, like the first sighting lap's actually really like quite paced, because it's advanced, so they assume you know what you're fucking doing, even that you've maybe been there before. So you know, we're fucking going around at some decent pace, even on the sighting laps, and then yeah, like off you go. And you know what, being in a group that, especially on a track that I'd never been before, and it just helps, because you can copy the faster boys in front of you. You can really learn some stuff from people. You know, you're never going to get faster by just overtaking people, but just following these fast boys around really did help. And it was really daunting. That first session was so tense, didn't relax up, was just almost trying to learn the track a little bit and make it through. And look at this cunt, don't pull out. Yeah, so it was really kind of daunting. And that first session, and my mate, you could imagine how he felt, and he was like, fucking hell. I was like, you'll lax up, don't worry, it happens every time. And you know, straight after that, you absolutely love it. You know, every session after, it just gets better and better and better. So, and it got really good, like and I could focus on my riding a bit, learning the track, having a little play here and there with everyone. And the fact I got a 148 was just, yeah, like, I was so chuffed with that. Especially as I'm like, I do a bit of research before I go to any track. So I watch like an advanced group rider, like someone will have a video on YouTube about it, and you just get to see what, you know, you can learn the track from people's footage. And you can tell if people are not very good, even if they're in the advanced group, you know, like they're missing apexes or braking way too early and stuff like that. You can tell. So, you know, I'd watch a load of stuff, do a load of research, and the general consensus was on forums that in advanced group, the fast boys are doing anything between 152s and 148s. Now, I'm obviously chuffed I got a 148.4, but I do feel like I had more to give. And probably the thing that let me down a little bit was my suspension was still set up for fast road. I didn't have the confidence to start tweaking it, whereas I feel like if I went back there, I'd definitely have the confidence to start like stiffening it up and just playing with the settings a little bit, just to go bollocks, like, you know, this is we can improve this a little bit here and a little bit there and what have you. But you know, anyway, I'm kind of digressing a little bit and just talking bollocks about the entire thing. But yeah, it was awesome, and the couple of key things that made it awesome was, one, my bike. Like I really did enjoy the speed on track. So one of the next most important things for me anyway is the tyres. Now, I have literally fell in love with these Rosso 2s. I feel like Pirelli made a tyre for me. They just went, it needs to be good for commuting, it needs to be acceptable if it rains, and it needs to be pucker in the corners, given a hard time, and do track days. And I know everybody says it like this is the best tyre. That's like, I'm telling you, like, these tyres are the bollocks. I've never had such good rubber. I've had supercrossers, and even just, you know, riding them around on the road, and just for that whole track aspect, the supercross are wicked, but these things just heat up so quick on the road as well. And I really didn't feel much difference on the track to a pair of supercrossers, like, especially at my rider level as well. So I'm genuinely in love with these Rosso 2s. They're just, and these are the brand new ones, like they did revise them. Man, I absolutely love these things. They are pucker, and they've done so well. And my mate put them on his ZX10 as well. He went with me like a week before, and he only had one ride out in between. Managed to scrub them in completely, and he was even saying, mate, they're wicked tyres. Like, they're so much grip. Like, so yeah, they're tyres definitely the, you know, other than your bike and it being maintained properly, most like important thing. Probably second most important thing with that is the tyre warmers. Now I know a lot of people kind of go, oh, tyre warmers make a massive difference, and I didn't really realise until I got a set. So when I first did Brands Hatch, I didn't have a set of tyre warmers. First track day, you know, I could have hated it, so I wasn't going to go spend a lot of money on tyre warmers and all this fucking crap. So when I went Rockingham, I got a set of tyre warmers, and they do make a big difference, because one, you can definitely get like onto just riding fast like very quickly, but two, they make your tyres essentially last longer, because, and I don't know the exact science behind this, I might try and find an article and link it in the description, but basically you have something called heat cycles of these tyres, and you know, them getting hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold just really does not do them any favours. And if you did watch my last video, you'll probably see the state of my tyres from Donington, and where, you know, that last session they would have got really hot and blistered or whatever, and then they've just sat in my garden for 3 weeks getting cold, and it's almost like concrete curing. They almost take a little bit of a new shape, and tyre warmers just stop that happening, give you so much more grip initially when you go out, and yeah, it just make a massive difference. Like, and they're not that unreasonable really, and they last fucking you know, last for as long as you treat them nicely. You know, they just fold up and put them away. So third thing would be brake pads. Now I had the, I'll tell you what, I don't know what pads I had. When I got my suspension set up, they put a set of pads in. They were fine at first, but then I noticed, like, when summer come around and I go out for a little hack and really do give my bike a hard time, my brakes were so shit. Well, the front one anyway, like the front brake was so shit. And when it was like Donington time, I was like, I cannot go on track with these brakes. They're just not biting. I'm like pulling the lever as hard as I can, they're fucking smoking. So I watched the 44 Teeth review of the Speed RS, and something that the Baron and Fagan both said was that the Speed RS, like the brakes were just immense, and apparently they had revised brake pads. So I thought, well why not get their pads? They're the same brakes, just get the revised pads. So I went and done that. the cost of about £116. Oh, it was expensive. But yeah, £116 for both front calipers. But I'll tell you what, the difference they made, the stopping power I had, and the fact that, oh man, they were fantastic. Coupled with these tyres, they were fantastic. Really, really did make a massive difference. Yeah, they really did perform. I think the only downside was, and I did try and find it at the time, but I couldn't find anywhere that had some .5 fluid, because they did start to get a bit spongy towards the end of sessions. Well, end of the latter sessions when I got more confident, obviously. But yeah, the fluid was a little bit, I don't know, just started to go a bit spongy. But it's only like the .4 point something or whatever. I couldn't find the sort of racier stuff, so it don't matter, it's fine. It still did really well. So yeah, the brake pads, and I love a supermoto. I would love to have a go on a supermoto. I really want to try one. What else is there? Yeah, paddock stand. You just got to have a paddock stand if you have tyre warmers. It's, you know, I didn't have a front one. We just about managed to roll the bike onto the front tyre warmer in the end. Although the picture I've probably slid in doesn't show that. Yeah, the wheels, PVM wheels. So I am gonna try and, you know, I'll just fucking do it in this video, bollocks. So these wheels, I haven't really done a video on them, and I keep meaning to, but you know, after all my excuses, I just haven't had time. So I might as well kind of chop it into this one. But these wheels have made this bike come alive. Like, I loved my bike before, like I had these wheels, but now I am infatuated with my bike. I love my bike so much. I am not that interested in like a big S1000 RR or an R1 or anything like that at the minute. I love this bike so much. It handles so fucking well since these things have come on. It picks up so much better, it brakes better, it rides better, everything about it is better. Mate, he's waving you on, go on. Yeah, everything about this bike is just so much better. And if you've got the money, you know, go get yourself some like carbon wheels would feel even better than these. These are like forged aluminium ones. And the difference they have made is phenomenal. Just, it picks up speed so much better. It deals with bumps in the road so much better. Just because it hasn't got as much weight to, you know, try and rebound back onto the tarmac. Like, it's just, they've made such a big difference to this bike. And I actually have a bit of a comparison. So if you watch the Speed RS video, I did a side-by-side with this bike, well, my bike, I don't know what I'm saying, this bike, with my bike, to see what the difference between like a modified Speed R and the new RS. Now, my bike was only like a bike length faster over that distance, and you know, that kind of shows the improvement that Triumph have made with such a standard bike. You got to remember, mine's heavily, not heavily, but modified to a decent amount. Yeah, mine's modified to a decent amount, and you know, imagine if I modified that Speed RS the same way I've done mine. That thing would be that would be so rapid, it's unbelievable. So yeah, I'll cut the footage in because I've done exactly the same thing. Yeah, you can see the difference that it makes not having all that weight to have to spring into action on the wheels. Yeah, so as you can see, I pulled a decent amount even on my bike, like with the standard wheels. So, you know what I mean, like well worth the money, well worth it. And the difference they make as well in corners and just how the bike feels below you is something else. So yeah, they made a huge difference as well. The clip-ons, I think, for me, track, they're better. Like, I do like handlebar, like the sit up and beg position, and I was very close to going back to that position the other week after the track, because I thought winter's coming, so I just want to be slightly more comfortable. And then I rode it today and was like, nah, fuck that. but the clip-ons made a big difference as well. Just on like the high speed corners and stuff, you're tucked in, you're down in position. Like I'll show you some pictures, but it's a lot easier to adopt that sports bike racing position with clip-ons than it is with the handlebars. Just because, you know, it's set up more like a sports bike. I think the only thing I can really do with doing is kicking my foot pegs back like an inch maybe, and maybe a tad higher, but nothing too drastic. Suspension setup's really important. I mean, this would have been a mess if it weren't set up for fast road. Next time I will be setting it up for the track, on the track, so it should be even better. But yeah, other than that, same old shit as usual. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.